Well, howdy.
Are we live?
Well, sometimes you never know.
We don't know what's going on back there.
Sometimes you just have to figure it out. I do believe we've seen the intro play out, so I believe us to be very live right now. Yeah, here we are. Here we are.
Yeah. Thanks for telling us, guys.
Hey, you're the best.
Remember those
Y'all.
exercises we had on Friday about communication? Monica taught you everything about it. You learned nothing.
And pivoting just didn't happen.
Don't know how to pivot. Don't know how to talk.
Pivot. Let's talk about the lock-in, the things that we can say about it.
Yeah.
That are positive.
We can say, hold on, this is a children's event. We can talk about the whole thing. No. There's nothing that we couldn't talk about.
No, let's. We did indeed have. Well, welcome to Reflections, and it's so good to have Mr. Joey Livingston with me.
It's good to be here. You really had to dig down to the bottom of the barrel this week.
Yeah.
I remember a day when your show had real class. What happened?
We had class. We had a good guest. We had a.
Crazy thing is that your partners are sitting right back there, just watching this show unfold before their eyes.
I think they're eating things. That's what I would like to be doing.
You weren't supposed to say that.
Like, I'm very hungry right now. But we do have Diana as a guest, which...
By the way, they're exhausted.
She's
that's the reason why they're not up here. My wife is extremely exhausted. I don't want to make them look bad. My wife is extremely exhausted, and Kimberly is just tired of life. She's just bitter.
Well, it's okay. We all get tired. Diana, you aren't tired today, are you, girl?
No, as a matter of fact, I just woke up. I woke up at maybe about a half hour before the previous show started, and I'm running around like a chicken with my legs cut off. It's, oh my God, I've got to get ready. You know, what am I doing oversleeping?
She's been making pasta sauce for her the transgendered chef video series.
She was telling me.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of sauce?
Just a bunch of sauce.
What are you going to do with the sauce when you're done with it?
I'm going to put it on pasta.
Oh, you know, well, that's
isn't that novel?
Oh, good idea. Sometimes I like to take it just on bread and just like eat it like a...
What's your favorite kind of pasta? Angel hair, seashell, bow tie?
Ooh.
Curly Q.
You're very into your
Aren't these
pasta
the
names.
culinary names?
Curly Q's. I like the curly Q's. What are those called, Diana? The curly Q's.
Oh my!
Rigatone.
The best I can come up with is curly Q's.
Yeah,
I know what
curly
you're talking
Q's.
about. I
It's
can
curly
see
Q's.
them.
I like the curly Q's.
This isn't science.
Is it rotini?
We don't have Latin names for these.
It could be rotini. It's rotini. I think it is rotini. Absolutely.
Let me look that up and find out.
See, here is Diana making all this sauce for her show.
Yeah.
The trans.
She's got a saucy show.
Hey, John has come back to join us for Reflections. Welcome, John. John is Dutch, from what I gather. Nod your head if you are. John Stopman. John is cool. I think anybody from, where am I going to chat at? I think anybody
She's going to scroll down.
from a different country. I mean, I think they're neat because, you know, America's just so old, and that's all the people I know.
Yeah, because Americans think that people from different countries are exotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so
Too bad we
exotic.
can't hear his accent. We'd like him even more if we could hear
We
it.
would.
Yeah.
Remember Scoosy?
Yeah.
He was from the Netherlands.
Yeah. Anytime I need to get by somebody now I didn't used to do this, but now that I've met Dennis Scoosy, anytime I need to get by somebody, I say, Scoosy.
Scoosy, yeah.
I always think of him.
Yeah, John, we used to have a friend of the show's, and his name was Dennis Scoosy, and he lived in the Netherlands, and he was a young guy, quite a character.
Yeah.
Quite a character.
Like techno music.
Yeah, very much into techno. It may be a
He probably
Dutch
would
thing.
laugh at me for calling it techno. It's probably like dubstep or grunge. Well, no, it's not grunge. But dubstep, electro,
Or techno.
remix.
And then there's my friend Peter. He was in the chat a couple of weeks ago. I hope he comes by again. He's another Nederlander.
Nederlander.
Very close to the German border.
Oh, okay. All right.
Am I making it difficult for you to move your show forward?
No, not
Okay,
at all.
all right, good.
It's always this slow.
Okay.
Just joking. It's my fault. It's my fault. But I do
I'll
want to
just
say
blame
this. No, don't. Oh, John says techno. I'm old-fashioned classical music.
Yeah, well,
That's really old.
These days, techno is classic. Yeah, that's
said
what it's called when I was a
classical.
kid. Classical? Oh.
Yeah, that's really old stuff.
Yeah, by the time you add that AL to the end, it's like
It just ruins
we
it.
playing with wooden sticks and tinfoil.
I'm classic country music. I'm not sure
Yeah,
John would
me too.
understand me. Yeah, no, you're not.
Well, and I think so.
Some.
Yeah,
Some.
like I was listening to some, what was it? Some Def Leppard yesterday, and I was like, there are country songs these days that sound like Def Leppard.
But they're not really country.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I
right.
like the country music that doesn't try to be
Right.
Def Leppard. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Diane, what about your music? What kind of do you like?
Oh my, okay. I suppose that my favorite would be Beethoven.
Oh, I knew that was coming for some reason.
I love the Seventh Symphony, especially the second movement.
Yeah.
It's amazing what that man did with 5 notes.
Absolutely.
But then I also do like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, for
Absolutely.
example. A little of everything. And,
I like Crosby, Stills, and Nash's Fifth Movement. Fifth Movement in D.
You just like to have movements.
Yeah. I also like Pachelbel's Canon, but I think that's everybody's go-to.
I like Taco Bell's Nacho Bel
Taco-
Grande.
I love Taco Bell's Fifth Movement.
oh my.
Gustav Mahler's 7th and 9th. Wow.
Yeah, because you're going to have at least 9 movements if you eat Taco Bell. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, when John said he likes classical music, he was serious. He wasn't just joking like you
Gustav
are.
Mahler's 7th and... I'm not joking. Yeah. I
Yeah,
love...
I'm the one who
Bach.
calls the stuff formal music because when I hear somebody say classical, I'm thinking of Mozart, Haydn, and Paganini. Now, not everybody
too.
knows about that stuff. Not everybody thinks that way, but it's an interesting choice of words.
I'm a little into Vivaldi, just a little.
Oh, I love
Ooh,
Vivaldi. Four
Yeah.
Seasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to that in a long time.
Yeah. It's.
That was one of my faves.
I tell you what.
That's one of my faves. He was one of my BFF faves.
Well, we're gonna move along to something that's very dissimilar to what we're talking about, but I think it's important that I wanted to get it out. You know, Reflections, the show reaches millions of people. But whoever it does reach, okay, I would like for them to get on the ball about this. There's a father of one of the former Major League Baseball players, and the baseball player committed suicide about 6 years ago. And he left behind 3 young daughters, and the father was like, well, I've got enough of his baseball cards to make one binder for one child, and he wanted to get cards of a son for the other 2 girls to give them something to remember their father by. And so I think that's awesome. When our boys were young, they were very much into baseball cards, and it seemed like I spent, half my paycheck on baseball cards. But the article goes, as we approach Father's Day, one of the toughest times of the year for a father who had to bury a son. He just wants one thing, and it's baseball cards with Ryan Friel. Now, his last name is Freel, and his first name is Ryan. So, he was kind of a utility player, and if you don't know what that means, he could be put anywhere. Okay, so he bounced back and forth from a couple of different teams. The Cincinnati Reds, I believe, is one of them. Let me give you a couple of the other ones. Kansas City Royals and the Toronto Blue Jays. Won't hold that against him. But Cincinnati Reds, Kansas City Royals. So if you have a card or know of people that do, Ryan Friel, Freel, and how are we going to get it to this guy? And they actually say that he was diagnosed with baseball's first case, excuse me, of CTE, a concussive situation, traumatic. So he was a kind of a scrapper. I mean, loved to dive into second base, home, and he had at least 10. I'm sorry, it stands for chronic traumatic encephalopathy. But he was the first baseball player to get such a diagnosis. So,
Not necessarily the first baseball player to have it.
to get the diagnosis.
Right.
Right, exactly. Most people think of football, obviously, or, boxing, but
Right.
baseball players are scrappy now. Once they
Yeah,
are.
especially when they piss off the pitcher.
Exactly. I kind of like to see a thing at the mound go on. It's sad.
Oh, you
but
like
I
to
do.
see them.
That time, I think
Battle over the
Ryan, I
plate.
think Nolan Ryan got somebody there, and they're like, boom. But anyway, I digress again. But so if you have these cards, honestly, it doesn't say where to send them. But look it up on the internet, and you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. Ryan Friel. So let's help this father on Father's Day. I think
Yes,
it's the only
Ryan
fitting.
Friel.
He's not the father, but he's the dead son.
Oh,
He's the baseball player.
Well, but isn't he the father of the children?
Yes.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Yes,
so,
he is.
So we're helping two fathers.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
Right.
Absolutely. So let's just do that.
Yeah, double father help on this Father's Day.
Right. And, the suicide thing is really picking up speed. It seems
Getting
to be
kind of trendy.
It seems a little trendy as of late. Everyone, Kate
Yeah.
Spade.
It's not all it's cracked up to be, guys.
No,
Don't try it.
don't try that at home or a hotel in
Or anywhere.
Strasbourg,
Yeah.
France.
Adult supervision.
Anthony Bourdain. Who would have thunk it? I mean, you never
Yeah.
really think of anybody, I guess, committing suicide, but wow,
I
what
wonder what caused him to
Yeah.
end it all.
it makes you just
Seems
think.
like he had everything.
It does.
Yeah.
But it's just another thing that,
But he was-
money does
yeah.
not buy you happiness.
A lot of people and I don't say this to disparage the guy. This is what I know about him. I know he was very popular. He created a lot of popular shows. He wrote some really popular books, but a lot of people hated the guy. And the reason why I say that is because one thing that you begin to think about, I've never experienced any sort of level of fame even comparable to anybody who would claim to be famous, but I know what it is to be known by people who you don't know.
Right.
And it gets you to thinking about, because people do form their own opinions about you without talking to you or getting to know you. And, just to shoulder one person like that hates you and you don't understand why, much
Yeah.
less thousands or
That
who
is
knows,
true.
millions. I doubt that's what caused him to end his life, but it does make you wonder
It does.
what would make a guy like that just end it all.
Just end it all.
Yeah.
And with the scarf thing, that seems to be, Robin Williams
Yeah.
and Kate Spade and
Do you think
Bourdain.
do you think there's ever an appropriate time for someone to end their life, to end their own life?
I do.
Me too.
I do.
And I got to thinking about that when I said adult supervision required, because I really think that the time when it's appropriate is the time when you can really make a case, and that you should have people close to you that sort of say, yes, we see the situation you're in. Let us assist with this transition for you.
Right.
Reminds me of some cultures where. And I'm not necessarily talking about just older people by any means, but it reminds me of some cultures where when people got to a certain age, they would just sort of float up a river and they would just go and go on a journey away from their their tribe or their family. And I don't know how I feel about that because I feel like there's sort of a beautiful sense of like I'm just going to go and I'm going to end my life the way, like I'm going to deliberately go in and sort of have my final adventure,
Right.
and farewell to my family and proper goodbyes. Everybody gets to say goodbye and they get to say the thing like that. Now's your chance. Like there's not going to be no surprises. Say what you want to say to this person that you love.
Like Frank Sinatra said, do it my way. I'm gonna do it
Yeah.
my way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would never want there to be a tradition like that made anybody feel like that's what they should do when they get to be a
Right,
certain
right,
age.
right, right, right. No, yeah, and God forbid, it needs, it needs to be, in my opinion, well, you're well into your age, because things
Yeah.
can get better. Things do get better.
Yeah.
So I think if you are having these thoughts, you need to talk to someone first. Call the suicide hotline first,
Right.
or a respected friend
Yeah.
or somebody.
Should never be a decision that you make alone.
I don't think so. I think you need some guidance and counseling with this. What do you think, Diana?
Well, as a matter of fact, some friends and colleagues and I did a live stream. It was, I think, Saturday. Yes, it was 8 days ago on suicide and the LGBT community. And we understand that a lot of us feel ostracized. We feel put upon, if you will. A lot of people just don't like us. And yet, that may not be a reason to say, okay, bye-bye, folks, see ya. Because there are the chances, as I think you said, Rhonda, that things can get better. You can make them better.
Sure.
So you want to hang on for that. Now, on the other hand, I am the kind of person who also does agree with death with dignity.
Yes.
Were I to take the road that Ronald Reagan did with Alzheimer's, I would, as I'm thinking of it now, want to be able to step out, if you will. Here I am with the euphemisms. So as, number one, not to be a burden on anyone, and number two, for my own sake, because I don't want to know that my faculties are failing as they are failing, and irretrievably failing. That is a very, very bad situation to be in. It's not a happy thing at all. So, for my own sake, for example, were that to happen, I would want just death with dignity before it got so bad that I was a lump of protoplasm just shuffling down the hall.
Right, right. I mean, you don't want to be messing on yourself and uncontrollable,
Yeah, not uncontrollably.
No, not at all. If you want to do it on purpose,
Yeah.
I'm for that.
Control bursts.
Control burst of, that.
Oh,
And we were trying to make light of this, but it's true. Like,
There's
I don't want-
another show for you, Rhonda.
I don't want to look it up, though. I don't want the FBI to come look at my computers.
Daryl, when are you going to float up the river?
Daryl is on our show. Stop
Oh, he's
it.
not. He's not.
Jeez.
I think Kira wisely stepped out of this.
But when you get older, and son, you don't know about being old yet, but
I think I do, but I don't.
As I get older, I think I don't want our children to come see me and I have I don't really know their names or what I don't mind being by myself. I always tell Dad, I always say, I don't care about going to a home of sorts, but we have to be together. You can't be just out, living a playa lifestyle
Right.
while I'm in the home. That's not
No
gonna
matter
work.
if you're ready to come to the home or not. If I'm going, you're going.
That's right. No, no, and I would never leave my spouse insurance money after I died, why would? Because they'd be just having the time of their life, and I'd be dead. That's not right.
What? No, yeah, it is. Everything's right about that. It's
know,
called
one
"I Love
thing,
You."
though-
Happy Father's Day.
If I could get the cash together, something I would not mind would be setting aside a little account, just a few dollars, excuse me, to have my friends could have that money and have a little party after my demise, after I'm dead, and just remember what a jerk I was in life. I remember when her stepfather died, my grandpa Toman. We were all at the wake, at the viewing, and then after that was over, a bunch of the cousins got together and went to a nearby Italian restaurant. We were sitting around a table and just having dinner and exchanging stories, remembering what he was like and the fun we had. And one of the servers even came by and asked, "Oh, gee, this sounds interesting. What are you guys up to?" And we said, "Well, our grandfather recently died. We just came from the wake, and we're just remembering." And she thought that was so wonderful that we would actually do something like that, have a party, if you will, like that. So if there's any way I can put a few dollars aside and have my few friends have a little remembering of me, and throw darts at my picture or something, that would be a wonderful thing. I would love that.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. I mean, and we've got some cool comments. Skeptical Jed says, "My biggest fear is to one day become a burden on my family. I would cash out if that happened for sure on my own terms." I agree with that, definitely. And John, I wouldn't deny you the right to go on your own terms. You just no. And Beach Price, having worked with the elderly. Now this is very interesting. Having worked with the elderly, Alzheimer's doesn't worry me. Most people with it, they don't even know what's going on. It's having a fully functioning brain while your body deteriorates that worries.
Oh man,
Beach.
I'm already going through that.
Well, do you need some help?
Sure. Yeah.
First we counsel,
I'll give you my PayPal email address.
then we help. I know in Oregon, Washington, they call it, in the South, we call it the left coast. Joking, by the way. They have it all set up nicely for people. They can go to the doctor and they can, present their case, get what it takes, do it when they want to, have family around, go out in the woods,
Right.
do it by yourself. I mean, I think that's really a really good idea. But what Beej said, I say Beej instead of BJ.
Oh, this is Beach.
Yeah, I say Beej.
Yeah, it looks like Beach.
I
to
say
me.
Beach.
Yeah.
But
She's wonderful.
I
You're
tell
a great lady, Beach.
Beej. Yeah, I tell you what, anybody that has worked with the elderly, and I think they deserve 3 crowns. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. But having a fully functioning brain while the body deteriorates, that would be worse. Because I always think about this. If my brain goes, I don't mind my family sort of making fun, just kind of enjoying a little bit,
Yeah.
and laughing a little bit, and enjoying just, I don't know. Am I crazy? Will
Well,
you kinda laugh at it?
I do identify with the sentiment of I don't want to decay mentally and just not be aware of just how incapable and incompetent I am, and just sort of end up just some drooling baby as I fizzle out, even if I'm not aware of it. That I then become a burden to my family, and I don't want to do that personally.
So how should we gauge this? Any more of a burden? Like what percentage of you're a burden now, but what percentage more of a burden would it have
I would
to be
say
before
at the point that I'm pooping my pants on a regular basis, whether accidental or intentional. It's time for a conversation to happen about whether I should go or not.
Not poop.
It's time for you to go, Dad.
Oh man, how about a big shot of morphine on Pensacola Beach at sunset?
At the point that my children have changed more diapers than they filled when they were a baby, it's time for me to go.
Yeah.
They've repaid their debt.
Yeah, they were. I'm really loving Jed here. What he said. How about a big shot of morphine on Pensacola Beach at sunset, and then just ease it on out.
There you go.
But Anthony Bourdain was in. I'm sure it was a 5-star, hotel, but he was by himself, with this scarf, and that must be the thing of the rich and famous is the scarf technique.
Oh, did he choke himself out?
Yeah.
Oh.
So sometimes I have to wonder. That's all I'm going to say. I have to wonder. Was it for real or an accident?
Right, accident.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
If it was an accident, then we don't know all the details of the story.
No.
Because it would have been clear that it was an accident.
Yeah. Pants around the ankle.
No, see, you said you weren't going to get into it.
Well, children. Okay, and then John, Mr. Stopman. I've seen someone say Dr. Stopman. I've seen multiple real-life movies seeing people deteriorate. One was about 2 American gay men with one dying slowly of AIDS. I saw one too. It was called Philadelphia. Tom Hanks was in it.
First one
Beautiful movie. Yeah, beautiful movie. Oh my gosh. I had a coworker, and he was actually, he was heterosexual, but when he divorced, he then went into just a wild lifestyle of just casual, sex and drugs and whatever.
Whatever worked.
Yeah, whatever he could fill
Whatever's clever.
the gap with. But anyway, he contracted HIV/AIDS, and I got to the hospital like 10 minutes after he had died. But he and people in the office were so immature about it. Like, they didn't want their food in the refrigerator with his lunch and stuff. Just real a-holes about it. But way back then, no one really understood it. And so I'm not judging, but it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking, and he was a good guy. Diana, have you had any friends die of AIDS?
Okay, I'm lucky in the sense that no one who has been close to me has died of AIDS. I know of people just outside of my circle of friends who have, but we were not close. We barely knew each other, that sort of thing. So in that sense, I'm sort of lucky.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go from there, but one thing I can say, if you don't mind throwing a plug out, as long as we're talking about suicide, I referenced a live stream that I had done 8 days ago. If anyone is interested in seeing it, it is on a channel called The Godless Iowan. His name is Matt. He's a really beautiful person. I love him dearly. He calls me Aunt Diana. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm always everybody's on. The live stream itself is called Life Extension and Self-Harm Prevention. Now, the title is rather unfortunate because YouTube and Twitter are very sensitive to words. We could not put the title up of suicide prevention. As soon as they would see that word, that video would be taken down.
Wow.
And it would be
Dumb
over.
algorithms.
And we're kind of sad that happened, because this is not necessarily immediately available to those who really want it. who really need it. But again, as I say, life extension and self-harm prevention. It ran about 2 hours.
Oh,
On the
wow.
9th of June is when we did this. And it related in great part to the LGBT community, but you can also extend that out to other parts of the world. So anybody who would like to see that, there it is available for you. And I'm very happy to have been a part of it.
Well, thank you for that. I think that's very important for everyone to watch. We are going to close out. And John, I see your comment, and I think I remember that documentary as well. Absolutely. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255. And I think the last of that stands for TALK. So it's 1-800-273-TALK. And maybe that's what you need, someone to talk to. And for sure, before you do anything that is very, very permanent, talk to somebody. These people can give you some information. And I have to go. It's time for something else going on here at NCG. And thank you so much for watching and your comments. And I really appreciate that. And do what you can this week to help someone. And maybe just that act of what you do could possibly stop someone from actually considering suicide. Just a kind word. I read stories that way, that someone spoke to me at Walmart and it changed my mind because they had interaction. So do something kind for someone. Random act of kindness this week. And you never know if you're preventing a suicide. All right. Thanks for being on the show, Joey.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And Diana, as always. And we'll see you guys next week.
Careful with your scarves.
Definitely.
Take care, all.